We began our holiday with an overnight flight to Johannesburg, a connecting flight to Maun in Botswana, and then on to the Makgadikgadi Pan area of Botswana in this light aircraft. This is the main tent, or mess tent as they call it, of Jack's camp, where we stayed for the first 2 nights. The guest accommodation was in these other tents, spread amongst the trees. We'd booked to stay in a more basic camp nearby, but because they didn't have many guests, we were upgraded to Jack's camp. This is the inside of the mess tent, with the dining area in the centre. And this was our tent, complete with dressing table, and 2 4-poster beds. In a separate area at the back of the tent is a shower, this wash basin, and this very splendid toilet, looking rather more like a throne. Our main reason for visiting the Makgadikgadi Pan area was to see meerkats, but we did also see a variety of other wildlife while we were there. This is a yellow-billed hornbill, and this is a black-backed jackal. On our second afternoon at Jack's camp, we went out on a walk with these 4 Kalahari bushmen. Here we spotted a very well disguised monitor lizard. The bushmen gave us a very interesting insight into their traditional way of life. They also seemed to spend a great deal of time making detailed examinations of animal poo. They demonstrated making a fire, here they're building a trap.
And when he tried to take the gum, his neck.
On both mornings at Jack's camp, we set off around dawn to look for meerkats. Finding them wasn't hard. The man with the umbrella here is employed by Jack's camp to keep tabs on them. He follows this particular group all day every day. Once they've gone down a burrow for the night, he nips back to Jack's camp to get some sleep, and then the next morning he needs to be there again before they get up. So we knew we were in the right place, we just needed to wait until they chose to get up. Which eventually they did. And gradually more and more appear to start their day. And, being very sociable creatures, they spend lots of time grooming and playing. As you can tell from Margaret's clothing, it was none too warm. And in fact, when we arrived in Botswana, it was raining, and cooler than when we'd left Woking. Most of the day is spent foraging for insects to eat. They're particularly fond of scorpions. This group of meerkats is habituated, meaning that although still wild, they have become so used to people that they completely ignore us. They're constantly communicating with each other using chirping noises, and keeping a lookout for predators. When one spots possible danger, it raises an alarm call and they all disappear down nearby burrows. A few minutes later, one comes back up to the surface and uses the highest nearby point from which to take a look around. and if a slightly higher viewpoint becomes available, it'll use that instead. And after a wonderful 48 hours at Jack's camp, we flew northwest via Maun to our second destination, Kwara Camp in the Okavango Delta. Kwara Camp in the Okavango Delta was our home for the next 3 nights. The accommodation is in these tents, set around the edge of a lagoon. This was our tent, not quite as luxurious as Jack's camp, but very comfortable all the same. Drinks were served around the campfire, and in the absence of electricity, the embers from the fire were used for making toast in the mornings. There were quite a few monkeys around the camp, and the lagoon was home to some hippos. Beautifully coloured starlings like this one were very common at the camp. Not quite sure what he's doing here. As were crested barbets. A bit further afield we saw quite a few guinea fowl, and this lilac crested roller, and an owl. We had some quite long drives between sightings, but we did see quite a variety of animals. This is a leopard tortoise. The Okavango River is very unusual in that it doesn't flow into the sea. It forms from rainfall mainly further north in Angola, flows south into the Okavango Delta in northern Botswana, and then evaporates. It should still have been the dry season when we were there, but they'd had unusually early rains. As well as the usual game drives during the day, we did a couple after dark, on one occasion getting caught in a really heavy thunderstorm. We saw a bush baby, which I wasn't able to film, and this serval. We had some excellent sightings of this family of cheetah, which we followed for an hour or so. Our guides at Kwara Camp weren't particularly good, but fortunately the couple we were sharing the jeep with were excellent at spotting animals. As well as a number of game drives, we took a boat trip along the river. We saw elephant, eagles and other birds along the way, but the main object was to see this colony of nesting marabou storks. On our second day at Kwara Camp, we had an excellent sighting of this group of wild dogs. Following the dogs involved driving through seemingly impassable, thick scrub and trees. But we followed them and watched them for quite a while until it was getting dark. On our final morning at Kwara, we went for a trip in a makoro, which is what they call these dugout canoes. They propel them rather like gondolas, and stay in the shallows to avoid accidentally coming across a hippo. Directly after the makoro ride, we were driven to Kwara airstrip for our flight to Kasane and the onward trip to Tongabezi Lodge in Zambia. For the third and final part of our holiday, we flew from Kwara to Kasane in the northeast corner of Botswana, crossed the Zambezi River into Zambia, and were taken a short distance by road to the Tongabezi Lodge near Livingstone. The lodge is beautifully situated, spread amongst the trees on the bank of the Zambezi River. This is the bar area and the terrace where we had our meals. And this was the entrance to the pathway to our accommodation, which was about 100 metres away along the riverbank. The treehouse is built on 2 levels, both in the open air apart from a roof and a mosquito net around the bed. Upstairs is a sitting area, the bed and a shower, and downstairs is a large bathroom. The bank of the river opposite the lodge is part of a Zimbabwean wildlife reserve. We took a boat trip along the river late in the afternoon and returned soon after this magnificent sunset. The following afternoon we took a game drive in a small nearby Zambian wildlife reserve. Zambia's population of white rhinos has been poached to the brink of extinction. The 4 remaining animals live somewhere in this reserve, accompanied by armed guards to protect them from poachers. We did catch a glimpse of the guards, but unfortunately didn't see the rhinos. But our main reason for visiting the area was to see the Victoria Falls. In the dry season, almost all the water flows over the far side of the falls by Zimbabwe, but you do get a very good overview from the Zambian side. This visit also provided the only opportunity on our holiday to visit a local tourist market. The following day, we went by boat to Livingstone Island in the centre of the falls. These elephants are crossing from Zambia into Zimbabwe. In the deep water, they can use their trunks as snorkels. On Livingstone Island, you can walk right up to the edge of the falls. And a big attraction for me was the opportunity to go and swim in a pool right on the lip of the falls. The guides give you very precise directions as you swim across part of the river and clamber over various rocks very painfully in your bare feet. And finally, again with very precise directions to avoid rocks and strong currents, you get to jump into a pool. And swim over to a ledge right on the lip of the falls. After which, we made our way all the way back again. The tour to Livingstone Island marked the end of our holiday. We flew from Livingstone back to Johannesburg and then home to London.